Hello, and welcome to another little Genshin discussion video here. So, I thought it'd be a fun little thing to just say, hey, we're 6 months into the game. Let's take a look at just where my account stands. I think that'd be really fun to take a look at. So, I originally started playing the game the week before the Elemental Crucible event came out, like a week and a half before, about a week before, and maybe a week and a half, but pointed right a little bit before the Elemental Crucible event came out in like mid to late October. That was the first event of the game, and I had an original account that I used then, and then during, like in the middle of the week during the event, I got a reroll. I did some I had done some rerolls, and this was one of those accounts, and I ended up rerolling into double Venti and a Kaching, and then not long after also getting that double Venti and Kaching, I also pulled a Gene, and I was like, okay, so this is my main account now. And it's been that way ever since. So we're roughly 6 months into this account. I'm recording this on Sunday, April 25th, as the Tartaglia Genshin optimization video is currently processing in YouTube. So that is going on right now, and I figured while it's doing that, let's just take a look. So real quick, you can just see an overview of all the characters and what I've leveled them up to. So one thing that you'll probably notice is there are a lot of characters leveled up. So first and foremost, I want to say I do not suggest that you do this yourself. I have mentioned I'm a budget player, but none of my budget has gone into like resin refreshes or anything like that. I don't do those. That is a waste of money, in my opinion. So I have pretty much the same resources as any other free-to-play player as far as resources for leveling and material gathering and yada yada. The only thing that money has gone into for me has been in getting mostly characters and a couple weapons. But those weapons, I've only gotten the weapons when I've rolled really well on the character banners, to where I can sit down and say, hey, I didn't have to spend any money on these characters. Well, let's see if I can get a decent weapon. I like the banner, so I'm willing to spend a little bit to try and get one of these weapons, kind of thing. And that's worked out really well for me. I put out a video before about rolling on weapon banners, and that's generally what I've mentioned there has been the philosophy I've used even with spending. Like, that's the only time that I roll is when at least 3, preferably 4 of the 4 stars are good, and both of the 5 stars I'd be very happy with. And that's worked out really well for me. So, you'll see a little bit of that in a minute. So, I have leveled up so many characters primarily because I love to vary my team comps up every single time that I use them. I think it's really fun to tailor each team, or I tailor a team to each specific scenario and each floor of the Abyss and whatnot. The only time I use a very standard comp is in the overworld, when I'm just going around and doing basic mob farming routes and whatnot, and that'll be what I have right now: Tartaglia, Hu Tao, Bennett, Zhongli. It's my favorite team comp to just casually use, but I don't actually run this specific team comp in the Abyss a whole ton. But yeah, so let's just take a quick look at what these characters all have. So Zhongli is currently 288 on talents. He's C0. I have a 4-piece Archaic Petra set on him, and they're the same artifacts that you could see in his video. Nothing amazing. There's 1 or 2 of these artifacts. They're pretty decent, but you'll see on all of these characters, none of them have more than 1 or 2 really good artifacts. Most of them are pretty just kind of passable. And that's definitely one of the first things. That's one of the things that you'll notice on my account in general, is I'm not very optimized artifact-wise. Very ironic, given the title of my main series, Genshin Optimization. I don't really optimize my characters as well as I could, specifically in the artifact category, specifically because I'm taking all the resin resources into being able to level the characters and the weapons for them rather than getting good artifacts for them, and it's definitely hurt my account, but at the same time, they're still at a level that is good enough to get me by and complete and get plenty of get all the stars in the Spiral Abyss and whatnot, and I do really well with that, so it's not a big deal. I have a Favonius Lance on him. It's R5 because every time that I roll in the weapon banner, I get nothing but Favonius Lances, and I hate it. It's it's the one thing that, of course, it's the one thing on the weapon banner that I don't want. The weapon banners, whenever it's on there, that I don't want. I want everything else except for the Favonius Lance, and it gives me Favonius Lances. Nothing but Favonius Lances. I have an R5 and an R4 Favonius Lance. I'm so mad. But he's level 70. 71 on Bennett, just because I use him so much that he's gotten XP over the 6 months that I've been playing the game for. He's got a Skyward Blade. I got it on the Staff of Homa banner, so I wish I had recorded this. When I rolled for Hu Tao, I didn't have to spend a single dime for Hu Tao, and I have her at C1. I didn't have to spend a single dime for it. I got very lucky. I did 2 10 pulls, and I got her on the second 10 pull, and I said, well, that was really quick. Let's see if I can get a C1 on her. Her C1's really good. Next 10 pull, I got C1 Hu Tao, and that's when I turned and said, okay, well, let's see if I can get that primordial... Or let's see if I can get a Staff of Homa, and I ended up getting a Wolf's Gravestone and like 30 or 40 pulls. Was willing to give it one more shot. Got the Skyward Blade and said, I'll just hold that pity for the next time I see a good weapon banner. I'm happy with what I got, and I moved on from there. Again, Bennett he is at C5, can be at C6, but I'm not giving him C6. His C6 cuts off too many team comps, so I don't want to do that. And his talents are 668, Hu Tao 888, Tartaglia 688. Tartaglia has a R2 Skyward Harp. I had gotten a second Skyward. When I first rolled for Tartaglia on the original banner, I dropped a few wishes into the weapon banner because I just didn't have a weapon that I could use with him, and I was very lucky, and I got the Skyward Harp. It did not fit into my normal idea of when to roll on weapon banners, and so I'm real at one side kind of wish I hadn't because it was a bad idea, but I got lucky, so it worked out. But I would not do it again. I would not try my luck again. And then on the standard banner, I ended up pulling a Skyward Harp month or 2 ago, and I refined it right before Ganyu came out, thinking, I don't really care about Ganyu, I don't need it for her, as if I couldn't have just thrown it on my Fischl and had it be really effective on her. But I really wish I hadn't refined it now, but I made peace with the fact that I did, so it's kind of whatever. I also, as you saw in my Tartaglia video, had him at C0. He's still at C0, but I ended up rolling on the Tartaglia rerun banner here a few days ago, because I wanted to be able to roll on Yanfei, and I was 9 wishes away from the soft pity, and I knew that if I got C1 on Tartaglia, I'd be fine with it, but if I got C1 on Zhongli, I'd be mad, because his C1 is garbage, and it would have been a waste of my pity. I was actually wishing that I would have lost the 50-50, so that the next time I rolled and got a 5-star on the banner, it would be guaranteed, so I could more guaranteed get a Eula when her banner hits, but... It's fine. I'll make do with the Tartaglia constellation, but I won't be activating it for a while because I want to continue using him at C0 just to make the point for a while that you don't need constellations for Tartaglia to be one of the best characters in the game. And he has a 4-piece Hydra set. He's doing pretty good. My Hu Tao has a 2-piece Glad set and a 2-piece Crimson Witch set. I'm going to be switching out that Glad set for a 2-piece of whatever the new set is that gives 20% HP, because that's going to be massive on Hu Tao. That is going to just shoot up my ease bonus damage. I have a level 90 Primordial Jadewing Spear on her. I leveled it up from 80 to 90 just to get a little bit of extra crit rate so that she would be as close to 65 as possible, because she needs it. I don't want her to be at low 60s. I want her to be in the mid to high 60s at least. Albedo is leveled up to 80 because he scales really well with defense, and levels give a lot of defense, so I wanted to do that. He's got a Harbinger of Dawn. He's C1s. Albedo was actually the character that got me into being more of a budget player than a very low spender. Before Albedo, I had spent maybe $50 in the game in total, and I spent a little bit more on Albedo, and I've become a bit more of a budget player since. I wouldn't consider my account a very hard whale account, just a very, very lucky budget account. I've gotten a lot of 5-stars off of very minimal funds. put into the game. Like, yeah. Kaching, my original main, I still consider her, between her and Tartaglia, one of them is my main, and I'll flip-flop which one I'll say, depending on the day. She's got all 8s. She's C2, because every time that I get an off banner, I end up getting Kaching, and, you know, it's nice. She's one of my mains, but I don't really care about Kaching constellations. Artifacts, she's rocking a 2-piece Glad, 2-piece Thundering Fury. There's some decent artifacts here. They haven't really changed much since the video. Everything is pretty decent enough, except for her cup needs to be replaced. I need a better electro damage cup, and I need an attack percent timepiece, but I'm just not running artifact domain, so I don't really have a lot of that. Oh, excuse me, a lot of that. I've leveled up the black sword to 90 so that I could get a little bit of extra crit rate. Oh, this has changed since the video, so I'm running a crit damage hat on her instead now, because I've leveled up my artifacts to the point where I have enough crit rate and could do a crit damage. So she's probably my best built character. Because she has almost 55% crit rate, which means whenever she ults and gets her Ascension 4 bonus, she'll be right at 70% crit rate, along with 182% crit damage. Fantastic ratio, love it. Her attack could be a little higher. Again, that'll be fixed if I can manage to get a decent attack percent timepiece. That'll completely solve that issue. It's not even like giving me a lot of crit rate and crit damage, so because it's level 8, it's whatever. It's not giving me anything, so it'll be really easy to replace that and get something better eventually for her, and then she'll be a fantastic character. Super well built. Kaya is another DPS character. I originally was running him as, I don't know why, I was running him as a physical DPS, but I switched him over to being a cryo DPS, and his damage has been so much better ever since. But either way, I've run him in freeze comp, so he has a 4-piece Blizzard Strayer, and I currently have him at C2, which, fantastic. His C2 is fantastic, and his C1 gives a little bit of extra crit rate, so, like you see this, he only has 20% crit rate, but he's getting 15% crit rate from his C1. He's getting another 15% from the Cryo Resonance, because I only ever run him in freeze comp, so he's always got another, normally Diona with him for that, and then another 40% from the artifact set, because they'll pretty much be frozen 100% of the time, but even when they're not, that's still 20% more. So at the worst times, he has 70% crit rate. Even at consistent times, he has 90% crit rate. It's kind of overkill, honestly. It's insane. And I'm running a Black Cliff Longsword on him for extra crit damage, so his crit damage is fine, but I want more crit damage. I need a lot more crit damage on him to make it would help make him a lot stronger. He's got all 8s on his talents. Venti, I recently upgraded his E to level 8 from 6, so he was 668, now he's 688. Really wish I hadn't leveled up this. Again, that was at the very beginning of the game, before I really understood resources as well as I do now. He's at C1 because I pulled a double Venti at the beginning of this account. He's just rocking a 4-piece Viridescent, nothing amazing, but they work. Favonius Warbow, he's level 70, just like all my supports are level 70. Jean has my Festering Desire, because her E already does some solid damage, so that's a nice bonus for it, as well as a little bit of crit rate on there. She's one of my 4-piece Noblesse users, along with Bennett, and Diona is currently rocking a 2-piece Maidens, but she's more in a transitional period. When I get the right artifacts for it, I'm going to be changing her over to a 4-piece Noblesse, so that I'll have 3 different Noblesse users between her, Jean, and Bennett that I can switch between, because I never run them in the same team, because they're all healers. So I can get some solid use out of having them be like that. 668, Ganyu 868. She's like I mentioned in one video discussing this weapon, she's rocking the Windbloom Ode, because an R5 Windbloom Ode is better than an R1 Stringless by like 8 or 9% or something like that. So I use that with her as a sub DPS, which is really nice, and she's level 70, and she's got a 2-piece Noblesse, 2-piece Blizzard Strayer. Mona, I recently leveled up, so she has trash artifacts, but she's going to be rocking a 2-piece Nibless, 2-piece Heart of Depths, and I'm just going to be using her in freeze comps and in burst comps, just for her ult to grant a ton of damage bonus. She's got a Favonius Codex. I was really happy I pulled this Favonius Codex like right after I pulled Mona. I got her in an off-banner pull. It was not on the standard banner. It was on an off-banner pull for, I don't remember who, but it was a while back. And I was really... I hate Mona's dash so much, but there's a lot that you can do with her, and so I'm glad to have built her up so that I can eventually start having some fun with the stuff you can do with her. So now we're just getting into my main supports that I cycle through on a lot of my teams, that being Sucrose, Diona, Official, Jincho, and Zhongling. Beidou also fits a similar role, but I haven't really used her much. That Wolf's Gravestone I mentioned that I pulled on the Staff of Homa banner, I've given it to her, and I'm going to move it over to Eula most likely whenever she drops. So that'll be nice, and I'll give Beidou probably a Sacrificial Greatsword. Maybe a Favonius, but probably a Sacrificial. You can kind of go either way. I've seen arguments either way, so we'll see. I'll do some testing probably to finalize that decision later. Artifacts, just rocking a 4-piece Viridescent, nothing special. Constellation C, she is C5. Diona is C6. My official's also C6. I got her at C6 on the Albedo banner. Beidou is C2. I pulled 0 Beidous on on the first banner that she was featured on, and I've pulled almost no Beidous from any banner that she's ever been on. One of these, I got her from the shop, and then I've pulled 2 Beidous since, one on a featured, one when she was featured, and one just on the standard banner. So I am not lucky with pulling Beidous. But yeah, Official at C6 has just been amazing ever since I got her. Diona's rocking a Sacrificial on here, Stringless on Official. And then Jincho is running a Sacrificial, R2, level 70, he's C5. I decided not to buy the C6 Constellation in the shop because I wanted to save the Star Glitter. And I'm glad I did, because I can use it for better stuff than some extra energy generation. He already generates plenty. I don't have any issues with that. Artifacts, he's just rocking a 2-piece Nibless, 2-piece Hydro set. Zhongling rocking a 4-piece Crimson Witch set. I've got some decent artifacts on her, actually, just because I got some good ones when I was rolling for Hu Tao artifacts before she came out. And a couple of these really good ones I'm going to end up giving to Yanfei most likely. Like this flower, or this feather is really good. Not amazing, but it's pretty decent, and I'm probably going to move it over to Yanfei and figure out what I'll do from there. Probably have to run a few more artifacts just to run a few more artifact domains for the Crimson Witch just to fill those slots. She's C6 because you get so many constellations for free from her. And because every time that she's on a featured banner, I pull nothing but Zhongling, and I hate it. I hate this character for that. But in team comps, I like her. Just whenever she's on a banner, I know that I'm not going to get anything but Zhongling, and it sucks. She's got an R3 Dragon's Bane. Nothing amazing, but pretty solid. I have not touched Zhao since his banner, just because you can see I have other characters. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 main DPS characters built that I swap around between, and Zhao just doesn't... I haven't found a spot to really run him in effectively compared to the others, so I don't really run him anymore. I mean, he's even just got a level 50 deathmatch. I don't really bother with him much. He's just kind of got passable artifacts that just fill the slots. 2-piece Glad, 2-piece Viridescent. I'm pretty sure these are the exact same artifacts that were in his video when I did him. C0, 666 on his talents. Nothing special. Rosaria as well, I haven't really used her. I want to use her as a support for physical teams, as the cryo side of Superconduct. But I don't really have a physical DPS. I want to use her with a Razor, but I haven't built Razor, so here we are. Right now she has Star Glitter. I've got Crescent Pike built up, thinking maybe I could have run her as a main DPS, but I don't like her as a main DPS as much. But she's fun. I'm just not sure. I've also got the R4 Favonius Lance, which is probably better than the Prototype Star Glitter, but Prototype Star Glitter is built, so there it is for now. She's got main DPS artifacts, but I'm going to swap those over to support artifacts eventually. She's on lower end of a list of characters that I still want to work with, because again, as you can see, I've got a lot of characters built that need to be optimized a bit more before I start really getting to even more characters being built. And yet I'm still interested in building Yanfei and Eula, so here we are. We'll get to stuff eventually. And now we're starting to get into the characters that aren't even leveled up to 70 with the other supports. So Changyun level 60, and Xinyan and Amber all level 60 with varying weapons, as you can see. They've just got the artifacts to fit whatever I expect to run on them in general. So nothing special. Like, Amber doesn't even have the full two-piece Pyro, because I don't have another Pyro hat, I don't believe. Let me double check. Where is Crimson Witch? Yeah, I only have the one Pyro hat, so I can't even give her Pyro set right now. She's C3, C2, C2. I've bought both of the times that Amber's been in the shop, because I want her constellation so that she can be more usable. Please, MiHoYo, buff her, she needs it. Noelle, I recently got C6 on her, so I want to build her as a DPS, probably as a sub-DPS, as a, or a secondary DPS to a main character that has cooldowns or something like that, maybe. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do, but more a mix between a supportive utility character and a DPS character, so some kind of nice sub-DPS middle ground with some utility, which will be nice. I've got a Favonius Greatsword level 1 on her that I'll eventually do something with. Oh, it's R4, I forgot about that. But, yeah. She's level 50, same with Barbara. Barbara was only even leveled this much because of the original Spiral Abyss. I wanted to use her in that to cleanse the Pyro debuff. She recently got C6. I just don't care. I don't like her. Because the thing about Barbara is she's a good healer, but that's it. She doesn't do anything else, and I want some utility alongside my healers, like Diona being cryo, having a shield, works really well in freeze comps, Bennett giving a massive attack buff, and Jean just being Jean and having a ton of damage on top of her healing. As well as being a great Noblesse user, yada yada. She's just got a lot going for her. And then the last characters are all level 20. Main character, I wish it was the guy I wish I'd done the guy instead of the girl. But when I was re-rolling, I just kept swapping between doing the guy and doing the girl, and this one had the female main character, but Aether has just got such a better design. Ningguang, also a character that I really want to build up. I got the Lost Prayer on the recent banner, the recent weapon banner, which I plan to run this weapon on Yanfei, and then I have a Solar Pearl that I'll move over to Ningguang, and I'll eventually level her up, because I like her. I think she's really cool, and I have her at C6, so I want to eventually. She's got Archaic and Glad, 2-piece of each, so she'll work when I build her. Razor as well. He was my main DPS on my original account before I swapped over to this rerolled account, and I like him a lot, and I want to build him up eventually. I've got a prototype Archaic. This was originally on Changyun, because for some reason I thought it would be a good idea when I started playing the game to run Changyun with Kaching, and then I realized I'm an idiot, and I stopped doing that. But yeah, he is C6 currently, so he'll be really strong when I build him up. But he's level 20, C1 and everything. Got a 4-piece Glad set, just kind of filler pieces, but they're not, I don't think they're terrible. Like, he's got crit rate and crit damage on there, attack. I mean, nothing amazing, but nothing awful. And then Lisa is my character I'm least interested in the entire game. I just don't really care about Lisa. Barbara, I'll say the difference here. Lisa, I'm completely uninterested in. Barbara, I hate. I hate everything about Barbara. But Lisa, I just don't really care. So I'll eventually build her, maybe, if I have literally no other characters in the entire game to build. But yeah, we'll see. I don't even have a single constellation on her. I don't care. But yeah, that's what I have. Here's a more overviewy look at some of my weapons if you wanted to take a look at that. I originally had this sitting on Ningguang from when I rolled on the original Skyward Harp banner for Tartaglia, and that's about it. Everything else just kind of whatever. This is what I'll move over to Beidou when I get Eula and move the Wolves Gravestone over to her. I'll put the Sacrificial Gravestone on Beidou. As you can see, I've got a decent number of gold artifacts. Most of them are trash, though, and very few of them are actually leveled. Like, you can see all of the level 20 ones on without even scrolling. It's kind of sad. I put all of my resources into leveling characters and weapons instead of getting artifacts to make them actually strong. Yeah, let's go. Resource management. I've got a lot of books after the Oceanid event, which is nice, and I've got a lot of various resources just from doing farm routes. Not a ton of resources, but I've got enough to get me by for what I need to build things up, which is all I can ask for. And as I continue farming, I'll get enough for whatever in the future. That's pretty much the account. That's what I've got going for me. I hope that this was a cool little thing to get to see and look through, see what how I've handled my account after 6 months. I'm pretty happy with it at the moment, but I also see where I need to go from here, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done. So here's to another 6 months. So thanks so much for watching the video all the way through. Leave a comment below just letting me know what you thought, or talking about your own accounts. I'd love to hear how y'all's accounts have been coming along in the past 6 months. Subscribe for more content coming up in the future, and have a fantastic rest of your day.